This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. Welcome to Quality Time, the KO Koala Entertainment Podcast. Anthony and Skylar will take it from here. Master Chief, out, out, out.
Hello and welcome to Quality Time episode 100. I'm Skylar Sokol.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Skylar Sokol.
I'm Anthony Nicolosi.
That's right. And we are here with the full KO Koala fam. We got Josh. What's up, Josh?
Hey, what's up?
We got Sean. What's up, Sean?
Not fired yet.
Yeah, and that was a new intro remix by Evan Coulter. Evco Music. It did not have any Skylar saxophone, but I think Phase 3, we got to add that sax. That's all I'm saying, but it was sick.
Yeah, that was all Evan, all goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evan. Of course, please check out Evan's music. Linktree dot whatever, link.tree fucking their stupid ass URL / Evco Music. He's put out over 14 new songs this year, I think. Over 14 new songs this year.
Damn.
So, and they were at
That's
least
way more than the number of games we've put out this year.
About 80% of them were ultra bangers. So,
wow.
Yes. The other,
True.
all super chill. If you want to have if you're looking for music to have on in the background that doesn't just take up your entire conscience while you're trying to fucking work or live your life, Evco Music's is your jam. Anyway, Skylar,
right.
What's up?
All right. So today is our that was our sponsor, by the way. We're sponsored by Evan Coulter. That was our sponsorship segment. Now we'll move on to the podcast. Today, the end of the year, the end of 2021, and that means it's time for our games of the year. We brought the boys on for our top 5 games of the year 2021. The rules were as follows. It has to be a game that you finished for the first time this year or played for the first time this year. So it doesn't have to be released this year, but your experience had to take place this year, basically. And it can't be a game you ever used previously. So
Damn.
that only applies to Anthony and I. So Anthony might have a shortish list, but it's okay. That's why he brought on the boys. All right. So here we go. Number 5 first. Sean, you want to start us out with number 5?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. What is my number 5? Okay. Yeah, my number 5 this year was Resident Evil 8. So Resident Evil Village. So that was a game I played with Skylar. Really enjoyed it. My favorite part, honestly, was that it was short and sweet. I think it took us like 9 hours to beat, and there was just like no filler in it. It was just a good, like, on rails experience, a decent story, fun shooting.
We can't
good
see
graphics.
your hand.
It was good. It was a good experience. Really liked that one. So
awesome.
Good horror game.
That was a fun time to play it together.
Yeah.
All right. Josh, your number 5?
All right. My number 5. This is a real throwback.
Uh-oh.
Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles Plus, which is a remake of 2 games put together from 87 and 88. So this is old school RPG.
Josh is literally making games up.
Are these Japanese RPGs or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Ys. So Ys is it's a JRPG. It's
YS, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've
was
played
Ys.
one of those.
Yes, is one of the earliest action RPGs. It's really funny because I say action RPG in quotation marks because the action is you run into enemies for combat. It's called the push system, I think. And you literally just walk into enemies and it just automatically kind of just like you bump into them and it attacks them. So it's fun because it's not like the combat isn't a lot of thinking really. I mean,
it's kind of like
but
New York subway combat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who can push them onto the tracks first?
You could.
So
Josh related immediately.
Yeah, when you get to a certain level, you just kind of like steamroll through low level enemies so they don't take up time.
Cool.
It's bundled the first and second game together. The second game, actually, boss fights are more bullet hell style, which is good because the first game, the bosses are a little you just kind of run into them same as other enemies. It just takes longer.
Nice.
But second game was really good. I like
So-
the second game a lot. That's why it is on this list.
No big titty vampires though.
No, this is old.
So can it really? I don't know that Resident Evil might still win. All right, my number 5 is a game I haven't finished, unfortunately.
He literally fucking made the rules. He said you had to finish it in 2021, and he starts
Finished
with,
or
"I
have played
didn't
it for the
finish
first time.
Okay.
I'm almost
Rule
done. It's
change.
mostly Sean's fault because it takes 2.
I'm busy.
Oh, okay. That one's understandable. Okay.
Yeah, we're very far though. And so It Takes Two, the amount of work that had to have gone into this game is unbelievable. Like the amount of random objects and assets that are interactable or not interactable in this game blow my mind. Like I just can't even imagine how much work had to go into making all
They
of this
programmed an Etch-a-Sketch.
shit. Yeah. And that's like
And it's
one
like
of
totally
like 100.
skippable. Yeah, it's just silly.
And the gameplay really fun, the cooperative gameplay amazing. The story has been like good, although a little bit corny so far. I don't know, it's great. I've loved every second of it has been engaging and fun. One of the best games of the year.
Yep.
Anthony, you got number 5, or are you passing on number 5?
Yeah, I think I only have 4.
All right, cool. Child Rearing Simulator 2021.
Actually,
Chair fucking simulator.
I do have 5. Okay. No, I do have 5 because I just remembered a mobile game that I played for the first time this year that deserves to be on here because I think it is the juiciest mobile game implementation of all time. At least I have played.
Okay.
It is Rocket League Sideswipe. It is actually very super
Fair,
solid. Yeah, it's very super solid, and that's going to come in 5th for me. I haven't talked about it too much because Halo Infinite took over my life, but Sideswipe is actually awesome. I play it frequently while taking shits, and it's got great responsiveness. It's got a mechanical depth to it. Psionics, man, I'm starting to think they're the king of juicy, man. They are just, their shit just feels so good to play all the time. Sideswipe it goes into that. Fuck the people who play on controllers. Hey, like you play with your hands. If you play with controllers, fuck is wrong with you? It's like hackers in other games. Anyway, that's my number 5.
All right,
That's
nice.
all the PC players in Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweaty ass motherfuckers. Okay.
Except for the Halo aim assist is so intense that PC players still lose.
No, that's what I'm saying. PC players complain about people playing with controllers in Halo.
Actually, though.
Right.
All right. Next is big number 4. It's game number 4. I guess I'll start this time. My number 4 game of the year, probably definitely my most played game recently. I don't know if it's my most played game of the year, but I've sure played a lot of it. If you combine both the mobile version and the regular version, and that game is Super Auto Pets.
Super Auto Pets.
Yep. I have 13.4 hours in it on Steam, and I've probably played another 5 hours on mobile at least.
I did not expect mobile to show up in this list. Can't believe there's already 2 games that we played on mobile.
This game's on both, and I've played it on PC more. But yeah, it is true. Super Auto Pets is an auto battler. The only other auto battler I've really played seriously at all is Teamfight Tactics, which Sean and I used to play a lot. But Super Auto Pets is just like one of the most like simple but deep games I've ever played. It's so easy to pick up, but the strategies are so fun and interesting, and reacting to the randomness is like an enjoyable part of the game. You get to use random animals. There's a fucking hedgehog that damages all your units and all the opponent's units. And it's cool, and they're constantly updating it and adding new stuff. It's good. That game is going to be huge. Like, guaranteed that game is going to be really big when it releases. I think next year will be the year of Super Auto Pets.
Yeah. And it's free, so you guys should, try it.
And it's free.
Try a few rounds.
No iOS version, though. Best devs in the world.
Did they say why? It's so weird.
Because Android's way easier.
I would actually feel like it's harder.
And the game still,
I guess you can compile Unity and Unreal games for Android for free.
Oh, it's in Unreal. Okay,
I think,
it's
or one
still
of them.
technically early access, though. right? So I would think that they probably
You have
port it
so
over to
many more
iOS
hardware
later.
targets to
but-
deal with on Android. That's,
Yep.
yeah, what I would think. Anyway, that's cool.
Super Auto Pets, amazing game.
Good game.
Introduced it to all the boys. Everyone's playing it now, all my friends.
Yep.
All right. Josh, number 4.
All right, number 4 for me. Also, technically not. It released this year though, but it's technically not new. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is the English
Nice.
release of the game because this had released on the 3DS in Japan, but it only got released in English on the Switch this year in North America. So technically, I only beat half the game, but it is 2 games, so I beat the first game of the 2. I love this game. I know I once described it as a lawyer simulator, and Anthony thought that sounded very boring. It's not boring. It's more of it's like a detective puzzle game, kind of. And it's just full of like really fun characters, and Herlock Sholmes is my new favorite. It's just Herlock Sholmes. It's just such a fun dynamic, and the puzzles are great, and I really just love the game. I'm going to finish it. The reason I didn't finish it is because my number 3 actually came out in the middle of while I was playing it. So not going to say that yet since apparently we're going in order, but yes.
I actually almost started it today.
It's great.
I own it. I own it and the original trilogy on Steam, and I really want to play them soon. Like, I know I would really like them if I can focus on them for long.
Yeah, I haven't played any of
Great Ace
those
Attorney
games
is
since.
considered the best Ace Attorney game.
That's what I've heard. So, and a really good
Yeah.
one to start with. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the ones when I played them on DS like forever ago, but
Nice.
Yeah.
they're good games.
Number 4, Anthony?
Okay. I think number 4 is going to be Song of Iron. So I cannot believe I finished Song of Iron from a game's perspective, but I am so happy I did. I still feel like I don't want to tell people because it's so much the best part, but the ending of Song of Iron is so fucking good. It is so well done. It is a great game. As I've said before, the way I recommend playing it is having some alcohol, chilling on your couch if you're of age, of course. Not encouraging underage drinking, but if you can, chill. For me, it was whiskey, drinking some whiskey on the couch while I played through it on the Xbox. That was definitely the best way to play it. And damn, that ending. Also, the soundtrack. Will Goss really punched above his weight on that one. Loved several moments. He also did, if you're not following Will Goss music yet, he did this really cool like Christmas Song of Iron chant shit, and it was super good too. Anyway, Song of Iron, recommend. It's on sale, I think, and it's been patched and updated to improve some of the systems. Maybe we'll have Joe on again to talk more about it. But
it would be cool to get a post-mortem on how he feels about
If
how
you
it went.
if you guys paste all your lists after this, I'll collect them and I'll make a post in the Discord with all of our top 5s.
Thanks, Sean. We're recording a podcast right now, though. Anyway, Sean, you want to give us your number 4?
Yeah, so my number 4, so I'll say this one. So it's Guilty Gear Strive. And the reason I love this game was because I've always tried to get into like the more hardcore like 2D fighters, and they've all been super daunting. But Strive has like such a good tutorial. The characters are so like varied and unique, which I like. Like you can tell what a character is just because they're the way the art design, and the net code is amazing. Besides the launch week woes, and the soundtrack's a banger. So it's just a really good game that I played with Skylar, and we got a lot of time out of it and really liked it.
Yeah, if I hadn't, I've like churned super hard on Strive now and like have no interest in playing it. If that hadn't happened, it would have been in my list too for sure. They released a netcode update for my absolute favorite fighting game of all time though, so now I'm playing that instead. But yeah, Strive is fun.
Oh, that BlazBlue?
That's BlazBlue Central Fiction.
Yeah, my brother was playing it recently too.
Oh, very good.
That's the sound of it's on his list. We haven't gotten.
It's not
No,
on my
it's
list.
not on my list. I played it forever.
Oh, it's not new. Oh,
Yeah, that game's been out for a long time.
That game's been
It's
out
got
for
patched.
8 years
Oh,
or 6 years. 2015 is when Central.
but it got an
Fiction came out.
update.
Yeah,
Netcode
they patched
update.
it with
I feel
netcode.
like updates should be fair game.
It has the best
net.
netcode of any fighting game ever released now.
Okay, so it's really Skylar's first.
Is it the same? Did they use the open source rollback?
They used community developed rollback that community developed for BBCF that they adapted for the game, and now it like runs better than Strive, which was previously the best netcode of any fighting game that's been released. So
wow,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's our top 5 and 4. Some exciting choices. I'm surprised that Anthony had Song of Iron at 4. I have no idea what's filling the next 3 slots. So let's get to number 3 and hear what Anthony's number 3 is.
My number 3 is going to be, I didn't realize it until we talked a little bit earlier, is Sayonara Wild Hearts. Hey, I played it this year and I beat it. Yeah, I think it does because it's just so like focused of a vision and of an implementation, and sort of everything about the game works together to just execute the vision, if that makes sense. If how I'm explaining that makes sense. The soundtrack's great. It maybe part of the reason it beats out Song of Iron for me was it was so fast. You could beat that thing in what, like few hours, or something like that.
I think the full game playthrough is like an hour.
Yeah, it was like even for me, I think it was who beats everything like twice as long as you're supposed to. It was only like a couple hours, which I loved. It was just a really hyper focused, short, congealed, like boom, like a bite, like a
Goodness.
Can you hear me?
With that,
We hear you. We also hear the gong you just punched.
I lost my my keyboard. It's like not connected anymore. I didn't know if anything else
Great.
was. So Sayonara Wild Hearts is going to take number 3. Great job.
Hell yeah. My number 3 is another early access game. Actually, I'm realizing 2 early access games in my top. That game, a game I played a browser demo for 10 years ago, and then there was no information about the game until it came out in early access this year. That game is Rhythm Doctor. Rhythm Doctor is a rhythm game where the core concept is is a one-button rhythm game. The goal is to press the space bar on the 7th beat of every 2 measures, basically. So you count to 8, you press it on number 7, and that's like the whole base concept for the rhythm game. But there had tons of originally composed music that was like unbelievable, and also the second boss of the game was maybe one of the best levels I've ever played in any video game of all time. There's a review on Steam that literally reads, "Yeah, sex is great, but have you played 2-X?"
Yeah.
I streamed it for some people who may have seen it. If I haven't, I don't really want to spoil it. You should just buy Rhythm Doctor, if only to get to the second boss and play it, because it is one of the coolest, most innovative like uses of a computer that I've ever had. The game is forced into windowed mode and crazy shit happens, and that's all I'll say. So definitely worth checking out. Thanks, Anthony. You back? You good? Are you all right?
I never left. I'm happy to hear Rhythm Doctor's good.
You were flashing in and out. All right, great. Anyway, Rhythm Doctor also, yeah, like I said, the music is good. Oh my god. And yeah, number 3, Josh.
yeah. So from this point on, they're really tight. I had a hard time deciding the order of these 3. So number 3 for me, I'm pretty sure it's on Sean's list too. Not sure where, but it's on there. Is Metroid Dread.
Ooh.
Yes. And this I had trouble putting this at number 3 just because like it could have been number 2, but I had a lot of trouble between the 2 and the 3, like which one was which. So this ended up I put this at number 3. Metroid Dread is just, I don't know what to say. It's just the experience like of the Emmy rooms, which it's interesting because when I was playing I hated the Emmy rooms, but it's just like the fear. You really just, it like you walk into that room and you just, your adrenaline starts pumping. And that was like, I think my favorite part about it was it really got that vibe down so well. Like I thought it was great. I'm not like a fan of fear in games generally because I feel like it's usually done really cheaply, but I just thought it was done so well. So yeah, I put that for number 3. And I'll let Sean talk more about it when he gets to it,
That's
because I'm
funny.
sure he
So
has it.
my number 3 was Metroid Dread.
Hey,
Oh,
look
shit.
at that.
So yeah, just to add, so yeah, the Emmy rooms are super unique. It was like something I didn't expect them to do in like a 2D platformer. But my blurb is, I think it's the best 2D platformer it's the best 2D platform I've ever played in terms of the mechanics and the controls. They were just so tight. It like kind of ruined other 2D platformers for me. Like I tried playing some Metroidvanias after playing Dread and just wished I was playing Dread. Like they're so tight, and the slide and the 360-degree aiming and everything was just so well done.
I'll tell you, my kids got Switches for Christmas, and I want a Switch now because the Switch is so cool. And I'm like, I could play Dread.
Dread's good. It's not too long of a game for like if you do a single playthrough and just like finish it.
You can play Dread
It can
and
be
you can
difficult,
speedrun.
though. It can be difficult.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm big. Something like, oh, bitch, you know, like to play some difficult stuff or what?
It's good.
Josh?
I give Anthony 1 hour and then he churns.
Dread was great.
Yeah,
Great
I
game.
also feel like I need to, after playing and loving the shit out of Ori, because that's how I found out about the Metroidvania genre.
Yeah.
And then
So they're in the same genre but they're so different.
I've never played a Metroidvania I liked more than Ori, just for your knowledge, Anthony.
Have you played Dread?
No, but I won't.
Okay.
It's not my style of Metroidvania.
I watching it, I don't think I'm gonna like it more than Ori for me, but it still looks like some of the things you just described about the tight controls and kind of sizzling gameplay in moments. Like,
when I speedran it, it was like every time you made a mistake, it's because you messed up the controls, right? You didn't press the button right.
But Skylar did just give me an hour, so we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Number twos, Josh.
What's your number 3? What'd you say?
Rhythm Doctor. You remember?
Oh,
when
yeah,
you were
yeah,
flashing
that's right.
in and out of
That's right.
existence and claimed you were listening. All right, Josh. Number 2. What's up?
Yeah. Well, for anyone who knows me, this really shouldn't be a surprise. My number 2 is Persona 5 Strikers.
Strikers.
Is that like soccer Persona 5?
No, it is not. It's like like the Musa Warrior game style combat. You beat 'em up, sort of. So basically, it is a direct sequel to Persona 5. So it has all the same characters. It has an original story. This is going to be a little bit of a hot take on my end, but I actually like the story of Persona 5 Strikers better than Persona 5, the base one, not counting Royal, because Royal has the extra parts, but base Persona 5, I like Strikers better. For the story, at least. The combat, I did not think I would like, because I'm not generally a fan of that kind of beat 'em up style combat, but it does it in like an RPG style way. I don't know how I really describe it, but like just mashing buttons doesn't really get you that far, because you have to actually think about what you're doing because of the weakness system and everything. I thought it was great. The music, I mean, I love Persona 5 music. What can I say? I'm a Persona 5 stan. Everything about this game I'm going to like. So, just like Shoji Meguro knocking out of the park, Lenny Namizumi, just like, I love the music. What can I say? And yeah,
Josh
I don't
loves
really know
Persona.
how to. I like Persona. Yeah, I mean, I can't not put this on here. I just like the game too much.
Perfect. Josh is number 2.
Yeah.
Not a surprise, but a good game.
It's not number 1 though.
It's not number 1. I wonder what it will be. Anthony, number 2.
Maybe cheating. I don't care.
Oh God.
My number 2 game of the year is Agora. I don't care.
Technically, you didn't play it for the first time
Any
this year.
day of
right?
the week over anything I've said so far on my list. It really only consistently loses out to number 1, which you won't see coming.
So tell us, what specifically did you like about it? Can you?
I would say that this year Agora saw significant, like really significant tightening up of the controls and movement. Some of the changes we put in this year around that kind of stuff has really made it easy to play a fuck ton. In addition, we have
8.
almost tripled our level count since we started the year.
Crazy.
Really?
I'm thinking about that.
Josh has made some bangers this year. I'll tell you that. Josh has made some fucking bangers.
Sean made a level. Hey,
Sure.
Sean, what's up? I would like easily. Hey, Agora does not yet have like an extrinsic reward system, like an achievement kind of a thing, like leaderboard scoring capabilities. When it does, not only will I fucking shit on the rest of the dev team, but
No chance.
I will also.
Okay.
I will also. Probably even have more of a problem. Now, I like sincerely create timers for myself to stop playing so that I actually work. Because sometimes I'll get into a thing where I can tell, like I'm just on redacted level, and I'm trying to pull off and see if I can hit all of the redacteds in a certain amount of time or whatever, and in a certain way from a certain spot. And I realize like 7 minutes has passed, and I'm like, okay, I need to create a timer, and then when it's done, I need to play. So I need to get back to work. So anyway, Gora's taking number 2.
Nice. That's a fun game. All right.
Wish list
what
now
the
on
fuck?
Steam.
And
I wish that game would get released already. What the fuck? And the Switch port, man, that thing runs like shit. All right, Sean, number 2.
All right, so my number 2, this game's on here because it was an amazing experience, and it was the most unique gaming experience I've had in, I don't know, like 10 years or whatever. And it's Disco Elysium, The Final Cut. It was just, so it's a narrative-based game, right? There's no combat. It's basic. I would basically describe it as a top-down point-and-click adventure game, right? But the way, so The Final Cut, they added full voice acting for everything. So the way the voice acting is, and the way the writing and like the narrative design and like how you can make choices and stuff, and the skill system is all like nothing I've ever seen. It's super hard to explain and super hard to recommend, I think. But when I was done, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and it was just awesome. So loved it.
I've played a little bit of it. I'm definitely going to finish it at some point, but I can confirm that the writing is like unbelievable. Even the small amount that I've experienced is like so unique. It's crazy.
Yeah, just listening to it is like a treat. It's like, it's just a good game.
Good game.
Good game.
My number 2 is Inscription. Finished it last week. Daniel Mullins, my boy, Pony Island maker. If anyone in the chat hasn't played Pony Island and has a PC and will play it, tell me, and I will literally buy the game for you. I'll buy Pony Island for any person who wants to play it. I love that game, and Inscription just is more Daniel Mullins greatness, honestly. The coolest part of Inscription is that the first part of the game, which you think is the whole game, literally you play and then you beat it, and then that's like the beginning of that's like the first chapter of like 3 major chapters in the game, and shit just goes crazy. There's like a real-time video stuff that happens. There's 8-bit, like 16-bit adventure stuff that happens, and the mechanics and just expand. Like the depth of the mechanics in the first phase of the game are deep. The card game mechanics that you play go really deep. You build these really interesting decks. It's roguelike style, and then suddenly you're no longer playing a roguelike. You're playing like an adventure game where you have access to all those mechanics and then like 4 times that amount of mechanics. So it's crazy the amount of depth that goes into that game. The ending was great. The graphic style is great. One of the boss songs is like one of my favorite pieces of music in games from this year. Play some Inscription. That game is fantastic. Yeah. And maybe we're gonna have Daniel Mullins on the podcast if I ever ask him, if I ever stop feeling like I am an idiot for asking him. So that'll happen at some point.
Communicate your love for his work, your undying passion.
Seriously.
Make sure it comes across in that DM.
Number 2, Inscription. And that's everyone's number 2s, right? So we're on to the
Yeah.
big boys, the number 1 games of the year. I will say Inscription was released this year, and my number 1 game was not released this year. So as far as games that were released this year, Inscription was my number 1 essentially, but that just wasn't the rules. All right, number 1. Who wants to go first? Sean?
You know what? All of my games were released this year except for Sayonara. And Agora's not released.
All mine were. Well, Disco Elysium.
I don't know what Sean's number 1 is, and if it's what I think it is, I'm gonna laugh.
All right, so my number 1, I actually forgot released this year because it's COVID times, but it released around the big spring of this year. Is Monster Hunter Rise, and the reason why it's my favorite is because I've always been the kind of person who likes to stay in the familiar, you know. It's like why you watch the same movie a couple times instead of watching new stuff. But Monster Hunter Rise is just an improvement of the 3DS and the series of games. It has an amazing gameplay loop where the grind makes me want to keep going. The combat's amazing. It's basically just boss battle after boss battle. The RPG elements are good, and the engine they built a new engine just for Switch, which the graphics are really well done for the hardware that it's on. And once I started playing it, think I played like 70 hours in a week and just couldn't put it down. So yeah, I love that game.
I had a lot of fun playing it. I'd never played a Monster Hunter game before. They're really unique. There's a lot of depth to their systems that I didn't expect.
Yeah, no, that game, honestly, I was like, I was shocked how well it ran on the Switch with how good it looked.
Yeah, it was crazy. They did a lot of work to get it to run on that. So, and then it comes out on PC in January. So, hoping
so
for
you
a
can
Monster
do it all
Hunter
over
World
again.
2. Nah.
All right, let's go to the most obvious number one of us, which is our boy Anthony.
It is not the most obvious. You didn't know if Agora would be number one. Because technically, Agora is the game I have put the most hours into this year. Technically speaking.
Yes.
To be fair.
But this other game just, barely beat it out, and that game is Halo Infinite. So one thing I hadn't thought of that I've already said, if you're interested in my thoughts about Halo Infinite, we posted literally 4 weeks straight of Halo content of podcasts. Go back and check those out, including my campaign review, the multiplayer review, the whole fucking spiel. But one thing I haven't said that I just thought about is that, the story situation that 343 was given heading into Halo Infinite, because Halo 5 just really fucking fucked it up. Like, the story was in such a not compelling place. Infinite had to wrap some shit up if Halo wanted to move on. And they in my opinion, they did it in probably some of the most satisfying / not retconning kind of ways possible. Like, I thought, honestly, for them to deliver something that just kind of landed as satisfying as this one did on some of the narrative threads that were going on that we just needed to move past, like this, Cortana created kind of stuff. I thought they did a really admirable job of landing that and setting a solid foundation for the future. So, and then of course the multiplayer, I am loving it. I do think they're going to need to figure out ways to, put out new content for people who aren't just like me, who will literally play ranked unendingly every day of their life if they could. But honestly, for me, just thoroughly enjoying it.
Great. We'll see if it's your game of the year next year too.
Especially if we get DLC
Halo Infinite Season 2.
All right.
Game of the year 2022 Halo DLC.
Halo
Co-op,
DLC.
the co-op patch.
Isn't that what the Destiny guys do? Probably this year my favorite was the Taken King.
All right, Josh. I have no idea what your number one is, so let's hear it. Let's go.
My number one is a little bit of a hot take, because I know that there's going to be people who heavily disagree with me because I picked a Metroidvania for my number one, and it's not Metroid Dread. Ender Lilies.
Oh, that game's so sick.
Yeah.
It is so good. I love that game way too much. This was a difficult. This is the reason that I had difficulty here, is because between this and Metroid Dread, I didn't know which one to put first. I put this one because when I thought about my emotive response, this one I had tears playing this game. So I'm a relatively emotional person, so it's not that hard to evoke tears for me. But I just, the overarching, it doesn't really have a narrative, quote unquote, but there is a sort of a narrative overarching that you kind of have to read into on your own. It doesn't really spell a whole lot out for you, but each spirit that you get, you have this arsenal of spirits that become your special moves, kind of like you would have I don't know, let's say the missiles in Metroid Dread. You have different spirits that do different things that open up areas and stuff. Each one of them has a backstory, and it's just a little bit of a lore snippet every time you get one, right? And they just it's just very, I don't know, I found it a very emotional experience. I loved it. Had the one thing that I was missing from Metroid Dread, which was multiple endings. I was I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't any sort of like branching ending in Dread. Like I know that's not really a thing for Metroid games in general. Like they don't really have multiple endings past like different cutscenes at the end, but like I appreciated the different like I get like my additional work of like clearing every room earned me an extra ending or better ending, right? So like I mean, and also just like the music was so good. Like I just I I love the game too much. Like that's all I can really say, you know. And I don't hear anybody talk about it.
Yeah, it hasn't really been mentioned at all by anyone since it released.
I
Like
hear
people were
radio
like
silence.
hype about the visual design and some of the stuff when it released, but I haven't seen any talk about it since then. It is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a good game, and to like not hear it come up anywhere really, I was just like, how are people not talking about this game? And it's been a year since it released, and like nobody's picked it up really or talked about it. So I feel like that's a little, you know, I had to put it there, you
Nice.
know.
Josh defending the games that don't get the attention they deserve.
This is the only indie game on my list, so I mean,
Boom.
yeah.
Honestly, looking at it right now, somebody just posted a link. I'm looking at it on Steam right now. It looks sick. Looks cool.
The graphics are
Great.
amazing.
It has really nice visual art.
No, yeah, it definitely looks cool. It reminds me of some of the old Final Fantasy games in some ways that I used to play, but like mostly from a menus perspective. But it looks
Only
fun.
Anthony's like, this game reminds me of games from my childhood from a menus perspective.
Yeah, it looks just like the menus. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, if you gift it to me, I might try it. Yeah.
Oh, buy it yourself, bitch. All right.
Yeah.
And now my number one. I didn't mean to save myself for last. I just was distracted. But my number one
That'll be a
game
good one.
of the year, Outer Wilds. And honestly, possibly my number one game of all time. It is like tied or beating BioShock Infinite. It's hard for me to decide. But the experience of playing Outer Wilds is like unlike any other video game I feel like that's ever been made. It just the feeling of discovery you have playing that game is something that I've never felt elicited in other games. The fact that you literally start the game with like no information in a completely like you just fly in a direction and see what happens, and then that somehow becomes this like giant web of pieced together information that you use to beat the entire game in like one cycle of the sun exploding, like 1 22-minute period with things that were all there from the very beginning when you first opened the game is like crazy to me. I just like the design problem for creating Outer Wilds is like unsolvable for me. I don't know how that game exists. It just doesn't even make sense to me with how detailed and how they catered the experience to actually work. Like how it works, I can't believe it worked. And it does amazingly. The music is great. The ending is really good. And I haven't finished the DLC yet, but the parts of the DLC I've played so far are really fun as well. So amazing game. If you haven't played Outer Wilds, I can't recommend any other game more than that. Like, it is one of the best single-player games I've ever played. So, there you go.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, too. I only watched that one part, the DLC. I was watching the DLC, technically, which was horror-y, which was cool.
It's apparently has more horror elements than the regular game. Yeah, the regular game does have some horror elements, though.
Okay. Very cool.
Yep. So, there you go. That's our Games of the Year 2021. As we heard earlier, Sean will compile a list and put them on the Discord if people want to play any of them. I'm sure he'll put links to where you can buy them and stuff. So we'll have a nice list for people to go to play our games. I don't believe we have a patron question this week, Anthony. Is that right?
Correct.
So,
patrons are slacky.
For me, this year was really good game-wise. Like,
I
played some of the best games I've ever played this year.
I mean, it took me a while to compile my list just to like think of what games actually came out this year. But after I looked over all of them to generate my top 5, I mean, there was only like 2 games that I kind of didn't enjoy that I played this year. The rest of them were all enjoyable.
Yeah. And I mean, for Anthony, it's how long has it been?
No, it's been 6 years, man. Since
So-
we had a new Halo. Like, yeah, I mean, this Halo. They could not do another Halo 5. Oh my god, I don't know what would have happened if we would have had like.
I mean,
another
Halo probably would have been dead if that happened, right?
No, very. I mean, probably. I mean, I can't explain to you what a weird feeling it was 6 years ago, finishing that campaign and being like, I didn't like it. Like, that was so weird. So so happy we're back. Oh, the soundtrack too. If you're looking like for something to fucking break your monitor to every now and then, like accidentally, that it's just good.
It's
I don't
what
know.
Anthony needed in his life, and he has it now.
I've definitely listened to the entire soundtrack like over 30 times so far because it's just so easy to loop, man. You just like loop it. It's
All
good.
right. Well,
Yeah,
great year
back.
for games for all of us. We enjoyed them. I assume this will probably become a yearly staple. We'll do all the employee top 5 game of the year. So tune in
Until
next
we have
year.
like 50 employees.
Even still,
Someday.
we'll get their lists. We'll
we
do some
fucking will,
stats.
dude.
Hell yeah.
We'll live stream. We'll turn on the camera and we'll like run across the studio. Be like, okay, 15 seconds, favorite game, go. And then like person will talk, and then we'll just like literally run to everybody and get their feedback.
Hell yeah.
And everyone says our game because they're legally obligated to.
Correct. It's in the operating agreement.
I mean, it'll be a little more. Not everyone. It'll be like maybe every 4 people or something like that. And we'll randomly distribute like the people who do it beforehand. But we will do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hopefully someday Agora can be on other people's game of the year list too.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too long from now, but
Hopefully not too long.
Next year.
hopefully
I'm not complaining.
in the next 2 years is what I will say here.
Mm-hmm.
Evan's in chat. He's saying, thanks for another good year of content, boys. Can't wait for Agora. Last year, we did a KO Koala year in review after our Game of the Year podcast. So we had Game of the Year, and then we did a KO Koala year in review. If the community is interested in it, we can do that again this year. It can become a staple. You have Game of the Year, and then the next time you have,
Studio year in review. I think we'll probably do it. Tune in next week, and Anthony and I will do a year in review. So
the boys can be on too if they want to.
if they want to. It's true.
What's next?
Anyway,
Yeah,
thank you all for listening
let's do it.
to the
If
podcast.
you want to get more information on our studio, you can go to KOKoalaentertainment.com. We tried to get KOKoala.com, but there's a Canadian fur company that has it. We're going to have to beat them out for it later. KOKoalaentertainment.com has information on everything for our studio, most importantly, Agora, our single-player physics FPS coming for PC and Xbox. At least right now, we'll see if maybe more platforms as well in the future.
Switch.
Dude, I would play the shit out of Agora on Switch. Also, if you want to help support the studio, there's some merch options. You can donate, but you can also subscribe to Patreon, which is what we would recommend because you get a fuck ton of perks. You get behind-the-scenes content, which there's a meaty boy coming for the patrons. It's been crazy recently for us, trying to hit some deadlines and real work stuff. But now that we have some time here at the end of the year, we're going to be back putting out regular behind the scenes content for the patrons. You get like free merch depending on your tier. You get access to a patron realm for Minecraft, all kinds of good stuff. If you're interested in Minecraft realms, check out also on our website how you can enter our open community one. Thanks again, everybody, for listening.
Thanks for listening. Thank you,
Bye,
Sean.
everyone.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, no problem.
See you guys.
Bye,
I still
everyone.
love you.